Our last two honorees today are being inducted into the Minnetonka Faculty Hall of Fame, which recognizes former teachers and administrators who inspired in students a passion to excel with confidence and hope. Congratulations to our first inductee, David Stearns, who's being honored posthumously. David spent over 30 years coaching boys and girls tennis at Minnetonka High School. He was known for transforming players into their best selves and led the girls' tennis team to an undefeated season during his last year as coach in 2020. An amazing teacher and coach. Introducing David, Abby Steiger for the class of 2015 and Elizabeth Wright from the class of 1994.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Wright. I am a 1994 graduate of Minnetonka High School. I played tennis for Dave Stearns in the 1990 season and have the great honor of introducing him and helping induct him into the Hall of Fame. Dave was not only a wonderful coach on the court, somebody who really wanted to take time and had patience and just had this great, very even keel personality on the court for me, but he was an even better person off of the court. I say that because I went through some family issues. My mother had a severe mental illness and in 1990 was actually institutionalized. So during that tennis season, Dave really became someone who was one of the few people who knew what was going on in my life and my personal life and really helped guide me along with my family, of course, my dad and my grandparents. But he really helped guide me and make sure that I stayed on a path that was that was good, and I didn't make that turn that I could have made. Dave was somebody who would listen to me, who would make sure that I was okay. He was so much better off the court than he was even on the court. He touched so many people's lives. I know that no one knew what was going on with me other than Dave on that tennis team, and that really meant a lot to me. That meant that I had a safe place to go where I could talk and not feel like I was getting judged at a time as a freshman in high school when that's always very difficult. So for that, I'm always going to be grateful to Dave for really making sure I was okay. You move forward, it's now 30 years since I graduated, and Dave passed away a couple years ago, and it brought me to tears. It brought me to tears because I didn't get to say thank you one more time, tell him exactly how important he was, and really explain to him which way I could have gone. That is what you want in a coach. That's what you want in a human being. That's what you want in a representative of a Hall of Fame. He is that guy. He was that guy. He was the one that would always be there for his students, for his players. I know he did awesome things on the court. I know he took care of a lot of people off the court. But for me, Dave Stearns is someone that deserves not only this honor, but so many more honors that you can't even count. I think, really the only thing left to do is name those courts after Dave Stearns so that he can be remembered forever for what he's done and who he is in Minnetonka and as a coach, as a teacher, and as a person. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abby Steiger. I graduated from Minnetonka High School in 2015 and had the absolute privilege of being on the tennis team when Dave Stearns was our coach. Dave was not just a coach to me, he was a mentor and taught me so much about life through the game of tennis, which he knew so much about. We were lucky as high schoolers to have Dave, who knew so much about the quantum mechanics, physics, and technicalities of tennis, and how the arm was an extension of your racket, and he knew how to teach us so much about how to use our bodies properly. We were really lucky to have him as our coach because it was like basically having a professional level coach in high school. And not only that, but he taught us so much about life lessons and just the daily importance of taking time to appreciate the little things in life, stopping to watch the birds, or appreciating the fact that we had so many amazing teammates and support system, which is rare in the game of tennis because it is so much of an individual, selfish sport, but he would constantly remind us that we had so many teammates around us and we had to utilize that team atmosphere and the bonding to get us farther in the game, which we were lucky enough to make it to the state finals one year and almost defeat Edina. And overall, Dave was just such a unique person and one of those coaches and mentors that I still think about to this day, which is not very common. You have so many important people that you look up to throughout your life, and he's one that constantly pops into my head. So I'm so lucky that I got to meet Dave and had the privilege of being one of his students that he worked with. And we are so excited to congratulate Dave, even though he's no longer with us. But for this nomination, you so deserve it, and we are thinking about you.
Such a great venue and intro. Very nice. First, a quick, great to see Mr. Gallner, who's a favorite teacher of mine, and so many. I won't get into the full biomechanics of tennis, but I will say a few things. Looking through the names of the Alumni Hall of Fame, I see so many great teachers and coaches. I also see an exceptional group of individuals that have that rare gift of making connections to students and student athletes that can last a lifetime. It takes a high level of dedication and passion, as many of you know, to become an expert in any of the academic curriculums or athletic programs here at Minnetonka. That level of expertise combined with the ability to connect with students can lead to what we often refer to as a transformational coach or teacher. My dad had a very distinguished and unique career here at Minnetonka. He was on the coaching staff of a state championship basketball team, a head coach of 2 boys tennis state championships, a standout teacher in special education at both MMW and here at the high school. And for over 3 decades, he was the boys and girls varsity coach and started at the as an assistant varsity coach, I believe in '89 for the girls. I had the privilege of playing tennis 5 years for him, coaching 2 years as his girls and boys varsity assistant coach, and also 15 years of summer tennis camps working here at the high school, which are now 3 different sets of courts I actually worked and played on. A short story if I may, my first year coaching with my dad, many coaches from other schools approached me saying he needs to register to the coaching association so they can actually vote for him. When I first told my dad to register, his response was, and for those of you that knew him well, you can probably imagine how he would say this, but he said, I don't coach for awards, I coach for the kids. And after several attempts, somehow I managed to win that argument, and he did register. So shortly after that fall season, I got the call from him to meet at his favorite restaurant, Maynard's, and that was his way of thanking me for winning both section and state coach of the year. I now have a room full of Coach of the Year awards and plaques, a lot. So, yeah, very proud. Awards kept coming in. In 2019, he was inducted into the St. Cloud Tech Hall of Fame as a three-sport athlete, quarterback in football, point guard in basketball, and to no surprise, a standout tennis player. The girls' tennis state high school tournament banquet of 2021, he was also inducted into the Minnesota State High School Coaches Association Hall of Fame. So after high school, my dad was a standout star player and captain at the University of Minnesota tennis team. He had a very impressive career as an elite tennis player and coach even before his first days here at Minnetonka, now over 30 years ago. He had expertise coaching tennis players at every level, but ultimately that wasn't why he coached. In his words, it was the kids and seeing them progress as young adults and student athletes. It was all the former students that would come back to visit and thank him for his tremendous impact that he had on them in their lives. So eventually, I understood what he meant all those years ago when he would speak about being a transformational coach and what all that entailed. His decision to teach and coach here at Minnetonka was a great gift and opportunity for him to share his level of expertise and passion for helping others through teaching and coaching. It's a great honor for me to accept his induction into the Alumni Hall of Fame here. Thanks to everyone involved. Thanks so much.